I did. I preview it, you son of a bitchin'. Okay, stop. Start streaming. Yes. Wait a second. And it says we are going. Yep. Kate says we're streaming. Says we're streaming. Come here and say, let me see what these guys are saying. Anyone here? There's an issue with Samsung Galaxy 4 phones. That's
That's a
old.
problem for people in 2013.
True.
Notify the past.
I mentioned it in the chat. I'm trying to get more organized. Going to Google Plus, posting it.
Oh yeah, I should go.
Going to Google Plus, Linux for the Rest of Us group, posting it. This is going to be under discussions. Sure, whatever, I don't care. Posting it. Now going to the Hootsuite, Facebooking it, Twittering it. Linux for the Rest of Us is live.
Ooh,
Sending it.
the lounge is no more.
You have to go to. I will put the link in the chat right here. Give me a second.
Okay.
And either go to that page, or if you like it more full screen, you can go to this page.
Okay.
The Podnuts is both shows you the video and the audio stuff. Okay, so we are streaming live. I feel like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day when he has the gopher in his lap and he's driving the truck and he's like, look out the corner of your eyes because I got the monitor over here, monitor over here. I keep going back and forth. But I'm like, oh, there's Stormwatch. Damn good guy there. Damn good guy. Yes. Okay. So you tell me when you're ready, and I'll start the local recording here in a second.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Ready? Yeah, and that's the other thing. You send me the audio right after the show. I record this video to upload later because it's a better quality.
Mm-hmm.
Once we're done, I start to upload that. By the time that's done uploading all the way, I then have the audio and I have that already post produced. And
Okay.
so, it's like voila.
All right,
Whatever
cool.
voila means, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you're ready?
I am.
Okay, let me get the local recording of video started. Let me go here.
I'm good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Linux for the Rest of Us, episode 194. This is a show about all things Linux, whether it's hardware, software, whatever tickles our Linux fancy. I am Cody Cooper, aka Super Coop, and I am happy to be back with my good friend, the Linux Maven, the DoorToDoorGeek, aka Stephen McLaughlin, who's shaking his head. How's it going, Door?
Just like that. It's like we were never gone. And that's why Cody is much more professional than me.
Consummate professional.
Consummate. Dude,
You're going to have to get used to it.
it is so good to sit and chat with you.
Ditto.
I'm happy you're live.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's little doubt the stress I don't want to say endured, the stress you thrived in, I'm guessing, was great. And you came out the other side and you're still breathing. That's great.
Every year, the holiday season is pretty rough. This year, I seriously feel like I ate too much fish before I went into hibernation, and
Mm.
then I woke up way too late. It was just crazy. But, yeah, I'm just happy you're back. It's great to hear your voice too, even though I still talk to you just about every day. It's great to be back. A variety of, things have happened since what, October?
October.
October, jeez, of last year. It's now a whole
Well,
new year.
yes, but I mean, see, I'm like Steve C. And back in the day, Steve C. never said something because he knew people would hold him to it. So I'm saying this very deliberately. Next year, when Cody gets busy, I'm still going to release something. It's not going to be the show of the same caliber, but at least there will be a heartbeat in the feed to let people know something's still going on. Because literally, I got a couple pings in the last couple weeks. Are you guys still doing the show? Are you still alive? Did you pod fade? Because it was, I didn't realize from October we haven't posted.
Right, right. Yeah, and I've gotten some messages too. I should have had okay, yeah. I gotta give a shout out to, Scott Schuster here. Very, very short email, the header of which was, "I hope you were okay." And in the in the actual message, it says, "Miss your Linux fancy." That's it. So, Scott, if you're hearing this, if you haven't deleted your feed or our feed from your catcher, it was your inspirational message. All, uh, 18 letters of it
It could have been a
that
tweet.
caused me to come back.
It was so
It
short.
literally could have been a tweet.
Yeah. Um, I will say I've switched my email client a couple times, and I've had more than a couple emails. I don't know how, but I completely missed them. And you said, Scott, you mentioned an email, and I'm sitting there
Mhm.
thinking, I didn't see that email. So I type in my email, Scott, and I see it was delivered to us the 22nd, and I just now noticed it. So
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was just a
uh
few days ago.
yeah, so I would be rude and have you hear the clicks of my keyboard as I reply to you, Scott, but you know, that would be rude. That's
Ah,
my excuse. I don't know what I'm saying with it.
but we're back.
Okay.
We're back in the saddle again.
I'm terrified of horses, but yes.
Me too, but the day I became terrified of horses, I became more terrified of chickens. It was a elementary school visit to a farm. The horses were large and scary and they, kicked and whatever, but I actually got pecked by a chicken, so in
Hmm.
my mind, that was the more, dangerous animal.
Well, they're definitely more hyper, I'll say.
Yep.
Okay, well, a lot of announcements to start this because again, it's been so a while. The first is the website is more polished. The website is never finished. It's a continuous work in progress. But if you go to podness.com, you will see the new website. I've tried to add more things. In the last week, I literally just added podness.com/deals and a couple things like that. I implore people go to the website. If there's something you do not see that you expect on that website or something you would like on that website, you have to let me know. Um, the more people that complain about something, the more likely it will get done in a timely manner, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, the new site looks great. For those of you who haven't been to it in a while, just check it out, just stillpodnuts.com. Which, it's still running off, WordPress, right?
It is now, yes. Before, back in the day, it was
Oh,
Drupal,
that's right.
and it was quite painful.
Yeah. But yeah, everything, I mean, all the little things I noticed as far as being, out of place or this needs to be moved or whatever over the first, month, they're all fixed now. Yeah, no, it looks great. And in addition to that, we also have some not only the visual revamping of the our web presence, but we also have a couple new shows on the network. Isn't that correct?
We had one depart so far, and I'm honestly thinking I don't know where we might have one or two officially retire too. But yes, we have two brand new ones. Call That Girl Lisa show. If you just search for her, you'll find her on Podbean. Um, it's the same feed URL. So if you ever subscribed to her show, you're still subscribed to her show, but now she's not on Podnuts. I helped her in every way I could to make it as painless a process for her and the listeners. And then we have two new shows, one of which is hosted by, I personally think of as two of the best guys, period. And I'm pretty sure both friends of yours,
Oh yeah.
Jonathan and Tracy Holtz, doing Book Nuts.
And which Jonathan is this that we know of? I couldn't
I'm
remember. How
pretty
do you
sure
say
it's Jonathan the Admiral Nidhi.
that? NATO. Jonathan NATO.
Yeah, like Play-Doh.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, they both are m- almost hardcore audiobook people. Jonathan listens to everything literally like 16x. So when he has a 40-hour book series, he can listen to it in like an afternoon.
Yeah.
Um, so he consumes a great mass quantities of audiobooks. And Tracy quit his 9 to 5 like a decade ago, started up a computer repair business like a year ago or so, quit that. Now he's doing aquaponics and farm living.
Hmm.
So let's just say he has more time to where he, if he wants to, he can stick in a headphone and listen. So he's found audiobooks, and those two are just talking about reviewing independent audiobooks each episode. So if you find yourself liking audiobooks, I cannot encourage you more. Check that show out. The hosts are fantastic, but I'm sure the content is also equally as good. Me not really knowing audiobooks, I listen to it and I just like hearing them talk. So,
I've listened to a handful of them over the years, audiobooks, I mean. With as much as I commute now, I think that I should start listening to them again. In fact, I just started re-listening for probably the 6th or 7th time, Kevin Mitnick's Ghost in the Wires. That was his 3rd book, more of his, autobiography, which is a fantastic audiobook. I hope they have that one in the pipeline because I actually, got turned on to that book by Tracy, 3 or 4 years ago. So, yeah, can't wait to delve into that, and think of it as like a geeky book club is how it was explained to me, and after listening to the pilot episode, I can agree. So, definitely looking forward to delving into that one. But I must say that the other show that has started definitely piques my interest, probably just 1% more. It's like a 51-49 split.
yeah, that's the one that I teased for, man, 8 months or so, that I wanted to do a mini PC show, and it's finally quote unquote off the ground. Right now on the show is myself, Eric, R. Dini from Android App Addicts and Geeksters and other shows like that. And then we have a new guy, and I keep forgetting what he wants to be known as. So it's Brian, Ask the Cable Guy, Brian. All of us have some level of passion for mini computers and different levels of, I'll say, expertise. Brian is a network engineer, um, kind of guy. He's the guy who, if you ask to explain level 3 networking, can probably do it. Me, I'm just the guy who's really fascinated with small computers, love Linux, love mimicking of hacking because I don't really hack. And then Eric is an extreme fanatic about tech toys and gadgets. So the
Mhm.
three of us sit down and we basically just talk the breeze about all kinds of mini computers. Sometimes it's our experiences, sometimes it's new ones that we discovered. Um, but the beautiful thing about that show is it is like what Android App Addict started 400 episodes ago. When we first started it, we first said to ourselves, I don't know if we're going to have enough content. This literally let me be like a 3 month show because then there's nothing to talk about. Um, there's little doubt in my mind this is a ever growing niche. That's only going to be more and more mainstream as time goes on.
It's literally probably 50 to 60% of my social media feeds now. Just, updates to older versions, newer hardwares, new manufacturer, I mean, it's just it's a huge, huge market right now. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
only gonna get bigger and better.
Yeah. And I will say very abruptly and very firmly, it is not an Internet of Things show.
Mm-mm.
It is more closer to being a intelligent Internet of Things show where we expect these devices to be far smarter than a huge light bulb. We expect in the future to have multiple small computing a appliances, whether it be a kitchen computer, whether it be like a bulletin board for the front door, or whether it be the main hub controller for the Internet of Things or a home theater PC or whatever, they're all quote unquote mini computers. To me, Internet of Things is far too boring and far too insecure of an arena to discuss.
I could not agree more. All right. Well, let's get right into it. Considering we have quite the backlog, we're going to go ahead and actually just talk about everything that's happened since October. So strap in
Starting now.
now. Yeah. um. No, we're really not. Okay. So tell me about this Clear Linux project, or
Okay, well, first, again, as always, a reminder Think Penguin coupons are available. If you find yourself interested in wanting to support a company that supports free software, let me know. I'll give you a coupon to save some money over on a company that actually values your freedom and your privacy. And that's thinkpenguin.com.
and with tax time coming up, it might be the right time to purchase either that laptop, desktop, or that small form factor PC if you really need it within your home. So
Yeah, exactly and absolutely. Um, the first link I put in here, honestly, Cody, because I was slightly confused and interested. And with that, I'll say if you go to twitter.com/podnuts or you go to youtube.com/DoorToDoorGeek, when I'm done doing these shows now, I'm uploading a higher quality video of these shows. So if you want to see the pages we're talking about, see the links we're talking about, go ahead and check that out and let me know what you think about it. There's going to be 2 videos for each show, the live feed and then the uploaded afterwards. The live feed is going to be less quality, less video quality because it's streaming live. Okay, this first link is called Clear Linux. First off, great name. Can't believe anyone has not used this before because it gives the impression of something that's transparent and, in my opinion, something that is more simple. It's clear. You know what I mean? It's clear. It's clear. Clear Linux is an Intel initiative. Okay. This is, again, another huge major company deciding we have to put resources directly into the Linux kernel and into Linux to ensure we have the highest level of support from this operating system because you can. They can't do this with Microsoft. They can't do this with Apple. They can't do this with anybody else because they would literally have to buy part of the company out from under them. Um, Clear Linux offers Docker-like containers that supposedly work a little bit better with Intel processors and the Linux operating system. Um, I just think this is good to see big people supporting these kinds of things. Um, I doubt I'm ever going to use it. I doubt I'm ever going to need it. I doubt I'm ever going to run it. But I do think it's pretty cool that they're doing it.
and yeah, that's not to say that one of our listeners can't benefit from it. So yeah, I had no idea about any of this, but reading, the couple little blurbs here, I'm still trying to kind of wrap my head around it. But having them release something like this that's going to be optimized for their own hardware just makes good business sense. But to potentially have that rolled up and available for everybody else too is pretty cool.
Yeah, and without sounding stupid, Intel was it. The Intel x86 architecture was everything. Okay. You had like Sony PS2 with the what was that processor?
The PS3, it was
Yeah,
the old Power PC processor, the same thing the old Macs used to run.
right. They're gone. They're dead basically. They don't exist
Yeah.
anymore. And except for that, everywhere in the world, you basically had x86 processor, and then you had cheap low end processors that really didn't do a whole lot. ARM is becoming major. There's now many devices shipping with ARM. You're going to
Mhm.
start seeing Linux laptops being developed and shipped with ARM processors. Um, there's ARM servers out there. So Intel is trying everything in its power to keep their model of processing as relevant as possible. This is a nonstop game for them. So this is, I think, what this is just trying to be as relevant as possible for as long as possible. And good luck to them. But you know, whatever's better will win in the end.
Well, I'm not gonna get in an argument or a debate here with you, but, you made some good points there, but I think there's definitely room for both and for even more because competition is just gonna, make a better product all around for everybody, but having ARM, especially with um, the cost effectiveness of not only production, but
Yeah.
and cost to the user, yeah, you're gonna see that in not only, developing countries, but, mass, purchases for large institutions, such as schools. I mean, once you I mean, right, you already talked about, Chromebooks being rolled out, but once you start seeing, other potential, ARM, maybe sub $100 laptops, running Linux, yeah, you're gonna see that whole, sector just take off.
Yeah, and there's always going to be room for both. One of the things I think I don't want to sound, whatever. One of the things I think I figured out in the last year is technology never dies. It's just a question of what percentage of everything is it getting. And my example is like um CDs and vinyl disc. They're not completely gone. They still have a use case. They're still around. It's just they're not the majority. They're not the main selling point. They're not the eye catching. They're not where the money's flowing right now, but they still exist. So no
Right.
matter what, we're always going to have, I think, multiple architectures. It's just a question of what percentage is each getting in the market.
Right, but also as the market grows, even if they have I mean, if you're talking about market share, I mean, Linux is a perfect example. If you wanna talk about, the general, home user market share, it's very low. You wanna talk about enterprise, it's definitely growing. It's growing the home user too, but as the overall market grows, more people getting into computers, more countries having, bigger programs. Yeah, it's still a viable business, but I think that you made a good point too, that especially when you're talking about your example with media, there's a certain point where when you talk about storage media, yeah, this is still around, but there's that fear factor of when do I need to move my crucial files off of this and
Right.
back it up? Because I was reading a great article just yesterday about the old magnetic tapes because I was at my local recycle center which is in Eugene, Oregon, right by the University of Oregon. So they get donated, all this. I mean, it's a computer reuse recycle center. They do community outreach. It's called Next Step Computing. They do community outreach. They make donations. They take donations. They rebuild computers. They have a retail store, but they had this huge rack of nothing but just ancient media,
Mm.
and it's all sealed, brand new packaging. I'm talking like I bought a 5 pack of Fujifilm 5 and
Oh,
a quarter floppies for
oh,
$1, right? Just to have it in my office, right? And, zip disks, jazz disks,
yeah.
old mag tape. I mean, so many different, it was just like looking at a little bookshelf of history. And I thought, well, you know, and I started doing some research, and yeah, that they're right now for the magnetic tapes, people are saying it's time to move off of that because of the overall lifespan of that. But when you get into optical discs, there's disc rot over time. For instance, some laser discs back in the day, possibly also because it was the early disc technology and because they're so large, they're starting to rot out where they won't even play anymore. So you're talking about optical media over the next 10, 15, 20 years, it's going to be definitely dead.
Yeah. The only thing that has lasted is stone tablets.
Can't hack into my moleskin, tell you that.
Well, yeah, okay. Um,
Okay.
okay, next link here. To me, this was an indicator. This was a flag. You know how in my work, in my projects, I like to have a flag set way off in the distance. And then as a team, we do our best to go towards that flag, AKA indicators. You know what I mean? This was an indicator I saw um, from CES this year, which is over now, like about 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks.
Hmm.
And it was on Linux.com, Linux based drone upstage other mobile gadgets at CES. And here's how I think I know Linux is just doing better and better and better and better. Most of these drones that I saw, they did not focus on the fact this is running Linux. They just said, here's a cool drone. Look what this drone can do. There's the drone that can automatically follow you. You put on a little bracelet. There's the drone that can automatically avoid obstacles. There's all kinds of different ones that they showcased. Some of them were really cool looking. But I will say, in general, a lot of the things that I saw, I looked at and said to myself, is this running a full fledged operating system? And is it running Linux? And a huge percentage of it I thought was probable or absolutely it has to be running something like Linux. Everything from drones and Samsung Tizen watches
Hmm.
and quadcopters and all kinds of things. So um, Linux is ever expanding in how much it's just going to slowly and consistently take over consumer electronics. And of course, the desktop will not ever happen, probably. But
Well, whatever.
I know.
I hate how that's a measurement. Well, when is the year of the Linux desktop?
Well, yeah.
Don't
It,
don't hold your breath. Just enjoy the ride.
it's like asking, oh, so when are we going to get to the edge of the universe? We have billions of different things to do between now and then. Let's not focus on one of the big crazy things. It's like, when are we going to live forever? Well, how about for now we just have self-driving cars so we stop killing each other? You know,
Yeah,
take those. I don't want to say baby steps, but babyier steps. But yeah, I thought this was a good article with a lot of links to a lot of very cool things. And yes, there was a lot of car tech too. And every single one of them, I guarantee you, is either running a Unix based, BSD based, or Linux based OS because, that's what they do.
because it's cost effective.
Very, very cost effective.
Very cost effective. Right.
Okay. I've been slightly enamored because of the mini PC stuff to look at ways to do some monitoring, if you will. It's easy to set up a box in the corner of your house and to do QoS and say, well, I'm going to turn down the speed on my kid's tablet. I'm going to turn down the speed on my wife's Netflix or whatever you do.
Hmm.
But monitoring is the other part of that. And I found this glances over at Tech Mint, TECMINT. Um, and I really liked the features and the look of this because it was extremely low resources. To have a monitoring tool taking up lots of resources is counterproductive. It's like performing surgery with infected tools. Aren't you trying to save the person? What the hell is wrong with you?
Right,
So this
right,
was an
right.
extremely light one. And if you use these kind of tools preemptively, you might find out you don't need the QS as much as you need to. You just need to better manage the devices on your network and make sure they go into sleep mode when they should, or maybe they shouldn't check for updates every 45 seconds. Maybe once every 45 days is fine. But the
This,
and
sorry, this may sound like a silly question, but
Mhm.
can this measure power consumption?
It will on the local device itself, yes.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
sh-
because I'm looking at. Go ahead. Sorry.
I, I'll say it should be because it does have CPU and load type stats. So I will say it should be able to at least locally. Um, and to be honest, the other thing I liked about this is it basically reminded me a lot of Top. So as soon as I looked at the screen, some of it immediately made sense. And looking at this screen, I know where I've seen this now after I'm sitting down talking to you. This came pre-installed by default on my Voyager Linux laptop.
Oh, very nice.
So now it makes sense because I do remember seeing mount, disk IO, network, CPU, load, mem, swap processors all in one screen. So that's what they were doing. Um, I like this a lot. Now, granted, if you want to monitor your entire quote unquote network, you're going to need this running on every device. But if you have it running on your big devices, which I can because that's what I have on my house, nothing but Linux. I can definitely get some more comprehension to what's going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into this because I'm looking to set up a few other computers here in my office that I'm finally, well, still revamping, but it's near a complete quote unquote state. And I don't know if it's going to be more cost effective for me to maybe get some mini PCs um, for certain tasks or to run it off of some older laptops. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to checking this out.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. This next one, I'm gonna do my best not to rant, Cody. 'Cause that's what this really is. This is a stinking rant.
Here we go.
Um,
Buckling in.
I really don't comprehend some people in the Linux community. And I know I'm not that smart. I know I'm not that smart. My wife tells me all the time. But there's easy ways to do things and there's hard ways to do things. And I'm not going to say that other people do it wrong. But I will say if you do it the hard way, don't complain about how you do it. And then if you use KDE and then you don't understand audio configurations when you go on another computer, don't complain. Okay. KDE wants to control everything in the verse completely. So once you get out of the KDE thing, it's literally like going from Linux to Windows. It is. I like using more generic tools, and me and Cody even affirmed this over the last 2 weeks or so that this tool is the tool to use whenever you need to utterly control your audio in Linux without pain, without struggle, without text file configurations, without master's degrees, without real time kernels, and without knowing an explicit desktop. Okay. Pulse audio is not great, but when you have the tools like PAVU control is the tool that I use when I need to change my audio. Um, Awesome Mixer was the old one to do it. Now, Awesome Mixer is like nothing more than looking at the inner configuration of your sound system. And that's really all it can do. PAVU control is like being at the head of an orchestra. What I
Hmm.
mean by that is you can open up this sound configuration tool, and from in the sound configuration tool, if you start playing audio with Rhythm Box, for instance, you start to play audio with Rhythm Box. You can then open up PAVU control and say, show me what's being played back. Okay, now I want to repoint where that audio is going. So you don't have to even touch Rhythm Box and you don't have to touch any command line backend text files. You can use PAV control and say, okay, now I want to focus this audio to my headphones. Okay, now I want to focus this audio to my external speakers. Okay, now I want to focus this audio to another application to be recorded. And you can do the same thing with your mic input. This is the only way I know of in any operating system to manipulate audio without manipulating the end applications. And to me, this is the best way to do it because I don't want to have to know how to configure um, Google Hangouts. I don't want to know how to configure Chrome. I don't want to know how to configure OBS. I don't want to know how to configure um all Audacity. I don't want to know how to configure VLC. I don't. If I know PAVU control, I by default know all of them. And it's gold. That's all I'll say. Gold.
Super easy interface. Definitely gives you the power to look at, incoming, outgoing audio. And I love your example there when you were talking about, piping certain audio to your headphones versus your speakers, mainly because one of the additions I'm making to the office here is I'm installing a sound bar underneath my desk. And now I don't need to worry about getting some sort of like a physical switch box set up with cables, going from, here to there. I can just go into PAVU control because I'll have it set up via optical right into the PC, and just be able to switch it that way when I want to, watch some classic Next Generation or something in the office on one monitor or whatever. Yeah, yeah, good stuff. But yeah, yeah, could not agree more. To have one tool that you can walk into and have it be easy and to use it for all of your audio needs versus having to learn not only specific tools but also specific configuration types for different programs. When you break it down like that, it's like, why wouldn't you use this instead?
Right. Now, the imperfection about the tool, because nothing is perfect, is depending on what distribution you install, with what desktop you install, with what audio stack you install, it might be actual work to get PAVU control configured to actually control all the inputs and outputs. Now, I've been using GNOME Ubuntu, and I can change my desktop to awesome or anything else, and I still have complete PAVU control working. Now, sometimes even with Ubuntu, when you load up PAVU control, it doesn't see all of the applications running, or you cannot change the input output source. So depending on what did distro you start with, directly makes it um, determines how difficult the task is to get PAVU control working, quote unquote, perfectly.
Yep.
Okay, look what we have next, Cody. Um, the oh, this one I didn't even really get a chance to look at, but it sounded interesting. I would pronounce that binary
Yeah.
Raspberry Pi watchdog timer, and and literally this was one of those links from a couple weeks ago. So I gotta look at this. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, I haven't seen this either. Let me
So this is an easy way you
A
can plug
watchdog
up.
timer is an electronic timer used to detect and recover from computer malfunctions. During normal operation, the computer regularly restarts the watchdog timer to prevent it from elapsing or timing out.
So then what this seems like to me is this is almost like a heartbeat checking, failover checking device. So if you set it to check on another computer or itself, and if it doesn't come back correctly, it will basically force a reboot. Which I could see this being helpful. And what they're showing it is on Raspberry Pi type devices,
Hmm.
which it's a headless device typically off in the corner doing stuff. So this is where you would want it to automatically reboot if something went wrong. Okay. So yeah, so I'm pretty sure now I bookmark this for my own well-being.
And it makes sense why they would be speaking about it in that application because specifically with Raspberry Pi, you can be thinking about a lot of use cases for headless systems
Yeah.
where you might not have an actual display hooked up to it if it's I mean, running a multitude of things throughout your home or your business. So to have something like this set up, I mean, sure, you can, review logs if you were having a constant fail and it really needed to kick into gear, but having that as an extra step for an application such as that would be definitely beneficial.
Yes. Have to agree absolutely wholeheartedly. Um, so I'm gonna bookmark that. I'm gonna keep that in my little list in the backside. Um, this next one comes with a public disclaimer because it I guess it should. Okay, but really, come on now. This is called Torrent Flicks, okay, and it's linking to a YouTube video showing you how to use Torrent Flicks. I could not get this working on my current version of Linux. I'm using Ubuntu based 1404 long-term support. I believe in a couple months here when 1604 comes out, I'll be able to load this. This to me is the ultimate in home entertainment processing, if you will. Okay, the video is just it's a guy talking and it basically just shows you commands and stuff. what this is okay, if you live in an extremely poor bandwidth zone, this will not work. If you live in a high bandwidth zone, this will work. Through this application, you basically, for instance, type Die Hard, and it will ask you which service do you want to use? Kick-Ass, Seed Peer, Get Strike, the Pirate Bay, blah 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 blah. Then you hit enter. Okay. Then it gives you a list of search results back. Okay. Then you pick one, then you hit enter. Then it immediately starts streaming that video torrent to you. Now, sometimes it might take 20 seconds, 40 seconds, whatever, for it to start the buffering process and get enough in its queue. But with a good internet connection, I can't see this taking more than, you know, 40 seconds maybe to buffer and then to start playing. Um, the main reason I looked into this was because Star Wars. We had Star Wars, The Force Awakens, Force Awakes, whatever, I don't know, come out. And I really wanted to watch the first 3 movies that were released. Episode 4, 5, and 6. But I wanted to watch them in the most original native format as possible, which meant I had to find the de-specialized editions of the movie. Well, they're not official. If Disney had their way, whoever made them would be in jail. So I had to torrent them. And I really did not want to. Part of me really didn't want to download them and keep them. I just wanted to stream them. So I
Well,
tried to get this working.
but to be fair, I believe under the Byrne Act, you have the legal right to own a digital copy of them because you have them all on VHS, don't you?
Yes, but these
Eh,
are slightly modified
Okay, all right.
because these are as close to those originals. And here's the thing, they're not like the original VHSs because even the original VHSs said in the very beginning of the crawl, episode 4, A New Hope. The
Mhm.
original in 1977 did not say that. The crawl
Hmm.
just started and it just told you about the rebels and everything going on.
Oh, gotcha.
And
Okay.
that's what this did. This is trying to be as close to that pure original as possible. So I couldn't get this working. So I had to torrent them, and now I got them on my Plex, and they're glorious as well.
Yeah, my son Quentin, he just turned 4, and we still have yet to go as a family and see The Force Awakens together. But he had never seen any of the originals, so I broke down and just bought the Blu-ray set, but not knowing that they were going to be the Lucas special editions.
Yeah.
And once you start to see those, little additions in, you know right away. You're just like, oh, God, do we really need that creature walking in the background?
Yeah.
Do we really need the lightsaber effect to be that much better for those 3 seconds there? Come on, man.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been in the theaters now for over a month, but I think you better hurry up because I don't think we're going to get a warning to go see it. And
Oh yeah.
the only thing I will say, no spoiler or anything, but the lightsaber effects are giddy, 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 giddy. They are unbelievably. This, if there's anything that I can say, if they could have done this back in the day, they would have. It's the lightsaber effects, how the lightsabers look, and just how they move. You know what I mean? It's just gold.
Mhm.
But yes, torrent flicks, all one word. You have Netflix, and then you have torrent flicks. So if you like your torrent content and you don't want to have to download everything, you just want to watch it, torrent flicks is the way to go. And I wish I could have got it working myself.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, now this is another one I'm going to have to probably try if I look at this right because I want to be legal. So what did I do? I just bought last week Idiocracy. Why? Because I like money and I like Idiocracy.
Yes.
And I wanted to have it on my Plex server, but I didn't want to download it. I didn't want to pirate it. I found it online, $8, $10, whatever, DVD off of eBay. Bang, got it, shipped it in, put it in, I gotta check, and it's like not reading. So I don't. It might be me, but
Well, you might
I
like Idiocracy, but if you've actually seen it, you will know. So you'll know the answer to this. Tell me what plants like.
it's what plants crave, and that's electrolytes.
There you go. All right, cool.
Um, okay, the founder of Pirate Bay made a Raspberry Pi ultimate copying machine that I can't pronounce. I'm guessing it's just called copy machine because it's KOPIMASHIN.
Yeah.
Right now, if you watch or listen to Sunday morning Linux review, once again, I will say I'm thoroughly enjoying that show because of changes to it. Um, and or you listen to Podnuts the Sunday shows. Once in a while, there's this guy Tom on, same guy. He loves making appliances out of devices. Like he has an ultimate shredding device, which is Raspberry Pi powered. You stick all you do is you stick the hard drive in, and it automatically starts to do a shred of all the data. And then when it's done, you take the drive out, you put it, and then you put a brand new one in, and it just starts doing it. So it's like hands free. This is the same kind of thing, but for content. So the guy made an operating system that you just basically connect stuff to, and it will automatically copy uh the content from one device to a another device. To which I gotta say, that's kind of glorious, is what I'll say.
Yeah, that does definitely sound cool. I love the little what 4 by, or is it 4? No, no, the little display on it. I think
Yeah,
it's neat.
the liquid crystal display.
Right. Yeah, the little
Y-
LCD
Yes, and it harkens back to a day when times were simpler. And
to a
uh,
simpler time. Yeah.
yeah, to the time. So if you want the ultimate copying machine, then you need to download Copy Machine. KOPIMASHIN.
I gotta tell you, I mean, this is cool, but hearing you talk about that other thing about the data shredding Raspberry Pi, I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty neat too. We're gonna have to cover that on a future show
Yeah, Tom definitely has a passion and he follows through with it.
because anything short of throwing it into a microwave, I
Mhm.
guess would be, more cost effective, and you don't have to deal with that messy cleanup.
Well, yeah, I believe his logic is customers give him old machines and he wants to refurbish them or and donate them. So that's the safest way that he can do it because he doesn't want to send them with a hard drive that's been nuked or smashed, but actually functioning.
Right. Yeah. And it's probably something along the lines of what they use at the next step, like I was talking about that recycle center, because yeah, they have just bins and bins of drives anywhere from like, I mean old, PATA drives, IDE, anywhere from like, 10 gigs up. And it's just, you buy them. But yeah, I if I were to ever buy one, which I haven't yet, or more importantly, donate a hard drive to them, because I mean, taking I've taken a hammer to a hard drive a few times, and it's just kind of like it's one of those like infomercial moments where you're like, there's got to be a better way,
Right.
And yeah, that definitely sounds like it.
Right. But wait, there's more.
Right.
The only last thing I want to talk about really quick, I just stuck in the notes. And I honestly, I feel really dumb and I feel really bad and I feel really incompetent. And I feel like I didn't do you the right service, which is I should have told you about this before. It's called NetBoot, NETBOOT. It's subtitled "Never Make Another USB Installer for Linux Again." You
I
just did a
remember
fresh
Martin
install.
posting about this.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. If you don't know who Martin is, shame on you because you have to. He's the Rambo Bando. Um, he posted this, and this is almost what I was wishing for years. You basically just install this to a flash drive, and then when you boot to it, you use the tool to point to other operating systems, and you can point to Arch Linux, CentOS, CoreOS, Debian, Fedora, FreeBSD, Gentoo, Kali, OpenBSD, OpenSUSE, Rancher, Scientific, TinyCore, Ubuntu, blah, 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 blah. So you, from that one install media, quote unquote, you can install any of those distributions or BSDs. I thought that was awesome.
See, I mean, I remember when I switched from optical media to USB for installs, and it was just like a revolution to me. I was like, "Oh my god, I don't like I can't think of a reason I need to buy another spindle of DVDs ever, or
Yeah.
let alone CDRs." And then I read this, and I got to admit, and some of you who are listening to this might have had a little bit of a clinching, as it were, much the same way I did. I'm a little skeptical because it's such a big shift, especially with all the distros I install on all the machines I have all the time. I'm definitely gonna give it a try because the future is here, and why not? Um, but yeah, really looking forward to this. I remember Martin posted it. And I was like, I read it and I was like, I got to read this again. Hold on, just trying to wrap my brain around it all together. And yeah, it sounds like a great way to do it. And if you also thinking about the the I mean, I mentioned this earlier in developing countries or in certain use cases like education, especially kids getting used to doing this stuff. Um, Although USB drives are a dime a dozen now, pretty much literally. Why take the time to make that physical copy for installation when you can utilize a service like this, as long as it's secure and it's faster, and especially if you're talking about the more lightweight distros that could be installed and downloaded quicker. I think it's going to be a win-win overall.
Right. And the other little perk with this is not only can you install those different distributions, but Stormwatch John just pinged me in the chat because I forgot to mention, you also from this one USB key run AVG Rescue CD, Clonezilla, D-Band, G-Parted, HDT. I have no idea what HDT is, but I'm sure it's like hard drive tune, I'm gonna guess. Memtest, part par partition wizard, which I'm sure is a G-parted thing. Pogo Stick, which is an offline Windows password and registry editor, and then Super Grub Disk 2 if you need to fix a misbooting computer. So not only do you get the OS is to install, but you get this suite of tools, and Clonezilla alone makes it ridiculously powerful because, you know, it's Clonezilla. It's the one that really a lot of other ones try to be, and then when they get corporate backing, they get better than. But it's still a great tool.
Clozilla is indispensable, really.
Yeah, and I know Martin Rambo Bando loves it, and anything Martin loves has to be good because he's Martin.
Yeah, although he's starting to like lighter beer more, and
Oh,
although I don't respect him because of that. Well, I lost a little bit of respect once I found out he's not drinking such darker beer, but he is taking up better whiskey, so the give and
oh,
take, you know, the give and take is good. Still much love in
so
my heart from Rambo.
when I was at his house, he made me drink a little bit of scotch, and oh man,
Yeah, I was like Glenlivet 12-year. Not that I
yeah,
remember.
not
Jeez.
that you do. And that's when I realized. I thought before that was confirmation. Martin's much more manlier than I,
He's
because
much
me,
taller.
I just couldn't handle it. I was like, wow.
Yeah, and that was just a 12-year. I usually get the 18, or I've even had the was it 25 or 30. But yeah, it I see. I like that stuff because it makes you slow down. It doesn't. I mean, it will slow you down, but it's not just like woo going crazy. Like that is. I'm going to say at the conferences that I will be attending this year, I will have at
Mm,
least one flask on me, and I will
mm.
have some scotch in it
Oh, alrighty. Well, good luck.
because I'm going to have
And
to deal with you the whole time there.
yes, yes, you will. And Northwest Linux Fest is coming up now from the time we record this show, almost 4 months away, maybe a day or two more than
Is
four
it
months.
in late May or late April or early May this year?
Late April, like the last weekend in April, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so it's only 3 months away then. 90 days. Well, 97, less than 100
You're
days.
right. You're right. You're right. Wow. Okay. So if you are in or going to be in the Northwest western part of the United States at around that time, you have to let us know. This is just me. I don't go to those events to sit in a room and listen to somebody I don't know go on about something that I have a mild interest in. I don't. I go to these events to meet people, to shake hands, to chat with other people, have a good time, go out, have a lunch, talk about experiences, talk about history, talk about past, talk about future things we can try, talk about things we can do, kind of thing. Have fun. It just so happens at the same time there are people in a room standing up in front of other people talking, and some people like that kind of thing. So if you like that kind of thing, you can go there. I'll be outside the room waving to you, waiting for you to get out of the room.
There you go. Yeah, we'll definitely be at Northwest Linux Fest again this year. Had a blast last year. Finally got to meet Knucklehead Tech in person.
Oh,
His son Jacob.
hey, Jacob.
Hang and hang out with Martin, the boys. Chuck. Aaron wasn't there
Aaron wasn't there.
last year. We'll see if his wife lets him go this
Steve
year.
was there. Steve was there.
Yeah, Steve Sears. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Mhm.
and gosh, that guy and his gadgets.
Mhm.
Can't wait to see he brings this year. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall good time. Yeah, so if you're anywhere, Oregon, Idaho, Washington, Montana, even the northern tip of California, even though you just got to know a scale potentially,
Yeah. See,
this is a
and
good con.
again, this is proof why I can't go to Scale, Cody. Scale just ended, right?
Yes.
If I would have went to Scale, I would have went to Scale the very next day or so. 31 plus inches of snow drop on my wife and my children, and I'm in Southern California.
So
That's not cool. I can't do that to them. I
no, it's
cannot
very
do that.
cold.
No.
It's so cold it actually caused it to snow.
I cannot do that to them. So the likelihood I ever go to Scale is two choices, two chances. That's slim and none, unless I bring everybody. And what's the likelihood of that happening?
I'll make it happen. I'll talk to her. We'll figure it out.
Uh-huh. Sure.
You know how persuasive I am.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Sure.
Okay. Like I always say, I always offer that, but worst case scenario, she'll just never talk to me again.
Yeah. Hmm.
And for those of you who are craving some Linux gaming news, I know there's millions of you out there. I'm just going to mention this one thing.
Good. Good.
Uh, the one thing I missed talking about in 2015, as far as Linux gaming news, and I tell you, if you'd had asked me the probability of this happening, what I'm about to say, in a million years, I'd probably say that there's no way it's ever going to happen. But Street Fighter Five,
Oh.
you're going to be able to play Street Fighter Five on Linux.
Oh.
It has
When is
official
this?
SteamOS support.
When is this happening?
It actually releases on February 16th.
So we might have another small
Hiatus? No.
absence of shows. That's what you're telling me?
No. I could play any other day but Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, and for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Street Fighter nut. I have been since the very first game. I mean, I was a big arcade rat, mall rat when I was a kid, and I've played every iteration of it throughout the years. But yeah, the hype for this version is huge already. It being exclusive to PC and PS4 was big news, but
Mm,
just within the last 30 or 45 days, they announced it's also going to have full SteamOS support. Now, this is coming directly from Capcom, the developer of the
okay.
game.
Okay.
This is not them taking it to a third party and porting it. It's gonna. I can't wait to see it because I mean, if I can play, because honestly, if I had to play it on PC, that would be the only thing that I honestly think I would ever install Windows for again. And I haven't installed Windows on any of my boxes in at least 4 or 5 years. Actually, no, it's been really, really long. Well, I ran the Nexus toolkit on an old laptop of my sister's on a horrible Vista installation, but I haven't used Windows for anything since about well, actually probably '03 because I
Is
was
there
a Mac
anything
guy for a
else
while.
than a horrible Vista installation? Isn't that like de facto?
Oh my god! But
So,
that doesn't even matter. I just needed it for to root and unlock my bootloader on my phone. That's it.
well,
But
no,
God,
but I know. But here's the question I have for you.
okay.
I know you,
You
and
do.
I know a Steam controller might be cool. But when it comes to Street Fighter, it's not. I know
No.
you have a big enough thing that I could probably kill a couple people with before it takes any real damage. Gamepad, sit on a coffee table, multiple feet by multiple feet, buttons and sticks.
Yeah, I'm looking over here to my right. I have 9 arcade sticks on this rack here, and I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 different game controllers on my
But
desk alone right now. But I yeah, I
but will
only
they
play.
work?
Oh yeah, no, they'll be plug and play. What's nice about it too. Well, I will personally be playing arcade stick. I grew up in the arcade. I like the arcade stick. I never played it on pad,
Right.
except for if you know anything about Street Fighter, there's two different kinds of two main kinds of characters in the way they play. There's charge characters, and then
Yeah.
there's
Blanca,
the
Honda,
right. Yeah. And then they call them either the motion characters or Shotos, which is,
Ganji for cat.
yeah, the quarter circle, half circle guys. Yeah. So when I used to play a charge character, I would play with a gamepad because it's just easier for me. But I mainly don't play charge characters. So yeah, I have an arcade stick, and I'm an arcade stick nut. I have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's nice is with all the actually most of them I have are for Xbox 360 anyway, which means that if I were to plug it into a PC traditionally under Windows, it would detect it as a Microsoft controller, Microsoft operating system. Boom, plug and play. Bob's your uncle. You're fine. But when I played Street Fighter 4 on Steam, a version of Ultra, what was it, about a year ago at my buddy's house? Not only were the 3 sticks I brought over to test detected automatically by Steam, but it wasn't just wired USB controller. It told me the actual manufacturer
Oh,
and
wow.
model of
So
every single one I put
it
in.
read the chipset.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it was not just the chipset too, like, it could tell me the manufacturer and the model of the actual stick and everything. It
Nice.
was crazy. So to have that kind of, support, 12, 18 months ago, just through Steam alone, I was kinda blown away by that. But yeah, I just can't I mean, it's very exciting for me to have 2 of my favorite things come together and for me to, because everybody has that one thing that they still run Windows for. I haven't run Windows since like '03. I was a Mac guy for a while, and I transitioned from Mac to Linux back in '08, '09. But if I have a PS4, so I would play it on that. But if I had to play it on PC for whatever reason, like I didn't have a PS4, then yeah, I would probably go get some Windows 8.1 license and just, have no browser on it and just use it specifically for that. But now I don't need to. And I trust me, when that comes out, I will have a copy of it. I'll give you a full review. I also have a couple new pieces of hardware, gaming hardware. I'm going to plug in and try on Linux and let you guys know about that in the near future as well.
Very cool. Yeah, I never realized the difference between charge and motion characters. The only charge character I ever played was Vega,
Hmm.
and the only reason I played him was, man, did I make people mad when I played him. You know?
Yeah, you can, especially with a buddy of mine at our in our gaming group. He had this troll Vega. He just did the same 3 moves over and over again, but he
Yeah.
would randomize them just to see how good of a player you were, if you could actually get out of it or not. And we tried, and we just had, it was my buddy Dan. We just had him play all the new people
Mhm.
that would come in just to test their level of skill, and then we could potentially place them at different tables,
Right.
instead of just throwing anybody in that was, either way too
Yeah.
inexperienced with more experienced guys and vice versa.
Yeah. From Vega, all I did, wall jump, slam, roll, punch, and the slide sweep. That's all I
Yep.
did. 'Cause that's
Yep.
all I had to do.
And he's in the new game, by the way.
I know, but it's a question of time for me. I have to figure out how I can get my son,
Mhm.
because that's my excuse going to be. Well, he needs it, so I'm going to try to get him a Steam box. But um, I'm thinking I'm gonna probably build it myself, quote unquote.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and hearing that kind of news makes me much more confident in saying I can make it a Linux rig and I don't have to worry about a Windows rig.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, looking forward to, reporting on that and, a couple other things, but we'll keep that for another time. I believe that was the last item that we really wanted to speak about today. Is that correct?
Yes, and I will say for some reason, everything I reply to now, I can't stop for the last couple days whenever I can, I've been just saying not sure, which
So
is
you're not sure
another
about saying not sure.
idiocracy thing that I just find myself I can't stop saying it. I've even in meetings and stuff when someone says something, they look at me and say, "Not sure."
So much of that has, everything from that film has bled into my psyche, but I literally probably haven't seen it in,
Hmm.
at least 10 years?
It's like The Princess Bride
Yes.
in how it is what it is. There's nothing else like it, and parts of it will just stick in your psyche, whether it's rodents of unusual size
Mhm.
or whether it's President Camacho, which
Oh,
I
man.
which I will say, my only comment about politics is this: 99.999999999% of what all politicians talk about, I really don't care about. And what I mean by that is they're again talking about something typically too big, too vast, too hard to actually change. If they would just run on platforms like, I'm going to get rid of daylight savings time, I'd be much more interested because it's much more doable and they would win my vote.
It's not that, well, with the I don't wanna say limited scope, but the limited time they have, they need to talk about important topics. But if one of them talked about a bunch of interesting ones,
Mhm,
much like, we're getting rid of daylight savings time. Why? Because I don't like it.
mhm.
Whatever. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, man, once again, it's great to be back.
It's always good to, chat with you, man, and I look forward to hanging out with you here in 3 months. I almost said 4 months again, 3 months.
Yeah. You're actually talking about Northwest Linux Fest. You're not talking about
Yes,
me returning to the show after Street Fighter 5.
yes, yes. Actually
Yeah.
going to a conference.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And I don't wanna make any promises, but I'm trying to make it to another one toward the end of the year, the return. And let me tell you something, that ice machine better be ready.
I hear you.
All right, cool. Well, hey, everybody, please, if you like what you heard, if you missed us, just go ahead and send a little email into, mail@podnest.com, or you can send it to me at Cody@podnest.com as well. But you want to send it a show, actually, you want to send it a show directly to the show, send it to podcast and Linux for the rest of us, .com. That would be great. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, I'm not I can't not mention the ACF.TK. Our good friend, Jonathan Nato, who we spoke about earlier in the show, he is still very, very much involved with the Accessible Computing Foundation. In fact, I'm still a contributor, have been for I think maybe 4 years now, doing wonderful, wonderful things to bring technology to those who would desperately need it, those with disabilities, instead of leaving them in the dark, making technology accessible for them and for people across a huge swath of people that would otherwise be left behind is very important. So please head over to the ACF.TK, see if you can contribute as little as $2 a month, because that money goes a long way to helping a more significant amount of people than you would realize. And it's definitely great to do. If you want to send us in a voicemail as well, please send it into 7076 Podnut. That is 707-676-3688. Please try to keep it under a minute. If you need to go a little longer, that's fine. If it's going to be 2, 3, 4 minutes, maybe break it up into a couple of them. We'll totally play them back to back real quick. As I stated before, fantastic to be back. I can't wait to get back in the saddle next week. And please don't forget that Linux is not just for the rest of us, it is for all of us. Good night.
Did that right. I stopped the video recording. That be right. Stop the audacity. File. Save. I think I'm gonna have to do a blank install here soon. I think this is well. See, I'm gonna try to hold out for um,
1604, or yeah, 1604.
yeah. I'm gonna try to hold out for that just because I don't want to do it again when that comes out. Because once in a while, like when I hit save for this, it's okay. But when I do my file export, sometimes my audio like literally like disappears. You know
Is
what I
that
mean?
what is it? Were you doing that during the show?
No, no.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes when I hit the keys on Synergy on the other computer, which is the same keyboard in this computer, my audio will go out. Just whoop,
Oh,
gone.
oh, okay.
This was 194, was it, Cody?
Yep.
Yeah, like right now I just hit export, and then sometimes my audio goes all wonky. I don't know why. Okay, mark this stuff. Go like that. So come back to here.
Oops.
Text, color, highlight, yellow. Yeah, it's good to see Storm watching that chat too.
Oh, 8. Yeah, did John go to OLF in last year?
Yeah, him and Tracy were there, and me, him, and Tracy literally just sat there for I don't even know how long. It it felt like maybe an hour, but I think it was closer to like 4 or 5 hours. We just all just sat around, drank, and just chatter the whole time.
That's the best.
Yeah, he's unbelievably easy to hang out with, and when I say that, I mean both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And John discovered Fireball because he was like, why are the kids drinking Fireball? And I said, well, why don't you get one? And he got a little thing, and he
Mm-hmm.
was like, that's pretty tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's popular. And some people like it because they say it smells like mouthwash.
That reminds me when I was when I was in my heavy drinking days back in high school, I would always end the night with a shot of peppermint schnapps
Mm,
because my rationale was, well, that way my breath won't stink. And it's probably the catalyst for me puking a couple of times.
yeah, peppermint.
Throwing.
The problem with peppermint shops is it's almost too sweet.
Yeah, yeah, and see, I don't really care for sweet things. I gave up soda. I'm not drinking that anymore. So when I have anything sweet now, it's definitely really heightened as far as my palate goes. But yeah, all those sugar, like one of my buddies, God bless him, he's a Portuguese bodybuilder. He's just a massive guy, but he is a girl drink drunk. He can't hold his liquor for nothing. He's just the biggest pansy, and he'll get like a shot of